අලුත් ඉරක් පායන හැම දවසකම මේ රටේ සියලු මිනිසුන් දකින සිහිනයක් තිබෙනවා. ඒ අදට වඩා හොඳ හෙටක්. එහෙත් දශක ගණනාවක් තිස්සේ සිහිනයක් පමණක් වූ බව ඔබත් මමත් දන්නා කරුණක්. අවස්ථාවාදී, බලලෝභය, ඒකාධිපතිවාදය හා ජාතිවාදී හේතුවෙන් අපේ රට තවමත් ඉහළින් ඔසවා තබන්න අපිට හැකියාව ලැබිලා නැහැ. එහෙත් දැන් අපට ඉතිහාසය අත්හල නොහැකි අවස්ථාව ලැබී තිබෙනවා. අප සියලු දෙනා එකට එක්ව විවිධත්වයන් දරා ගන්නා පොහොසත් ලස්සන රටක් ගොඩනගමු. ස්තුතියි. තෙරුවන් සරණයි. දෙවි පිහිටයි.
It has been quite the presidential election weekend here in Sri Lanka. A man from the grassroots, Anura Dissanayake, is the country's 9th executive president. Hello there, you are watching Inside South Asia with me, Dasuniya, and let's have a look at what we have in store for you this week.
A squirrel has more rights than a girl in Afghanistan.
Sri Lanka has a new president, Anura Dissanayake, who will now be guiding the country out of its economic woes amidst a cleanup job. Adding to the island's political churn, the country's parliament now stands dissolved with a new prime minister appointed. Our top story this week takes a look at Anura Dissanayake's credentials and the challenges that lie ahead.
The new man at the helm in Sri Lanka, Anura Dissanayake, who heads the pro-Marxist National People's Power Coalition, won the presidential election in a runoff. Victory eventually came by 1.27 million more votes than his nearest rival Sajith Premadasa. Reviving the economy to cleaning up politics, that's what's expected of him ahead.
අපේ දේශපාලනයේ මේට වඩා පිරිසිදු වී යුතු ජනතාව විශාල ලෙස අපේක්ෂා කරන යහපත් දේශපාලන සංස්කෘතික අවශ්‍යතාවය තිබෙනවා. ඉතින් අප ඒ වෙනුවෙන් කැප වෙන සූදානම්. අපේ රටේ දේශපාලකයා දේශපාලන පිළිබඳව පොදු ප්‍රවේශංගේ තිබෙන්නේ අයහපත් අදහසක්. ස්තුතියි.
AKD, as he's also called, had presented himself as the candidate of change for sections of the Sri Lankan population under severe austerity measures linked to a $2.9 billion International Monetary Fund bailout. Not just administrative changes, there are massive expectations of corrections that he must live up to.
We'll see a lot of old players will be taken off from the parliament and well-educated and more youngsters coming into the parliament. It's a very good opportunity for Sri Lanka go for a proper change.
Dissanayake belongs to a small farmer household with roots in Sri Lanka's rural plight. His political journey started with the student wing of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna or JVP party in 1995. He managed to secure a seat in 2000 and served as Minister of Agriculture in the government of President Chandrika Bandaranaike between 2004 and 2005. He was named JVP leader in 2014, and the momentum prompted him to run for president in 2019 against Gotabaya Rajapaksa, which he lost. 2022 marked a turning point of sorts, a year Sri Lanka did not see coming. A protest that started over rising prices and scarcity of medicines morphed into a nationwide people's struggle movement. It was a headless movement of diverse actors. AKD became the face of change and new acceptance. And that is what played out in the 2024 elections. Watchers say Dissanayake marks the voice of practicality.
The economic crisis and what led to the people's movement are key indicators that people wanted a change. And that message was very much articulated in 2022 in wanting to see a change in political culture which kind of saw high corruption and nepotism. And that seems to have been captured in the messages and the manifestos that we saw in the NPP and the Anura Dissanayake campaign slogans. So really it's kind of tapping into what people were feeling in 2022 and really capturing the people's imagination that change is possible with this new formation that is the NPP.
Dissanayake stepping in is only the beginning. Sweeping political changes are in the offing for Sri Lanka. Parliament stands dissolved and the country goes to snap parliamentary elections on the 14th of November. All eyes on whether Dissanayake's NPP alliance can increase its tally from the present 3 for a larger say in the lower house. There's also a new Prime Minister in place. Harini Amarasuriya is Sri Lanka's 3rd woman Prime Minister. Everything suggests that for now, the focus will be political consolidation within Sri Lanka, amid big challenges ahead for the country and its standing in the region.
Sri Lanka's president won the election decisively enough, but the toughest tasks are yet to come. He will now face the tough balancing act of aiding the country's poor while also continuing the IMF cash flow. Analysts say that his promises are easier said than done. Here's more on our report.
His tax cut pledges won over many in Sri Lanka as elections approached. But the fact remains he has to fix an economy still in intensive care, going through its worst crisis in 70 years. AKD has to jumpstart the economy while making good on promises to expand welfare. And he has to rework the $2.9 billion IMF bailout and renegotiate better deals with debtors. It's a difficult conundrum for the Indian Ocean nation and its investors. The IMF has indicated it is open to negotiations, but any revisions to the bailout terms could delay the disbursement of further funds. The fund was set to review progress on reforms by October 1st before payout of the next tranche, which had been expected in November. Few now expect this timeline to hold. Dissanayake's administration will need to meet specific economic targets to secure the next $350 million tranche, a critical step in stabilizing the country's fragile economy. Investors are watching closely as the new government navigates these difficult economic decisions.
අප අපේක්ෂා කරන වෙනස සඳහා සැලකියුතු කාලයක් තුළ පියවර රැසක් ගැනීමට තිබෙනවා. එහෙත් ඒ සියල්ල රැඳී පවතින්නේ වර්තමාන ආර්ථිකය තුළ ස්ථාවරත්වය හා විශ්වාසය ගොඩනැන්වීමෙන් පමණයි. ඒ සඳහා ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදල සමග කඩිනමින් සාකච්ඡා ආරම්භ කර විස්තීර්ණ ණය පහසුකමට අදාළ කටයුතු ඉදිරියට ගෙන යාමට අප අදහස් කරනවා. ණය ප්‍රතිවගත කරන වැඩසටහන ඉදිරියට ගෙන යාම සඳහා අදාළ ණය පාර්ශ්ව සමග සාකච්ඡා කර ඒ සම්බන්ධ කටයුතු හැකි ඉක්මනින් නිම කර අදාළ ණය සහන ලබා ගැනීමට අපි කටයුතු කරනවා. ඒ සඳහා මේ රටේ ජනතාව වගේම ජාත්‍යන්තර ප්‍රජාවගේ සහයෝගයත් ලබා ගත හැකි බවට අප විශ්වාස කරනවා. ඒ සහයෝගය තුලින් අපිට සාමූහික ජයග්‍රහණ කළ හැකි බව අපි තරයේ විශ්වාස කරනවා.
How much support Dissanayake can command to hold up any controversial move is also unclear. His National People's Power coalition holds only 3 seats in the 225-member parliament and can barely muster the numbers for a fully fledged cabinet. Dissanayake has spoken of early snap polls to ensure that the government is fully functional. While a general election could of course help bolster his support, it also inevitably means more delays in tackling key questions around the economy and debt. AKD's proverbial honeymoon has only just begun, but it's an uphill battle already.
Much has been said about the Taliban's trampling of women's rights. This is a story of hope and second chance, where 19 female students have received the opportunity to obtain studies at the medical faculties at a university in Glasgow, Scotland. A victory for all organizations that work in Afghanistan to ensure a better environment for Afghan women despite dark times. Here's more.
These words of the former US First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt mirror the mindsets of 19 Afghan women who are restarting their lives in Scotland, thousands of kilometers away from home. Zahra Hosseini's lifelong dream of becoming a doctor is finally coming true.
Coming to Scotland it changed everything, and just it has given me the hope for a better future. I can become a doctor, I can become independent financially, and I can serve my family, my community to the best of my ability.
For these women, an initiative by the Linda Norgov Foundation came as a ray of hope. A 36-year-old Scottish aid worker, Linda was kidnapped by Islamist militants in Afghanistan and killed during a failed rescue attempt by US Special Forces in 2010. The foundation formed by her parents in her memory took on big odds to enable these bright young women to make it to Scotland to pursue their dreams.
They didn't allow me to get my specialization in Afghanistan. Now I consider I am the luckiest person that I am here and I can continue my education, and I achieved this opportunity to continue my education and follow my dream. I'm so excited and I'm really happy.
I was in 5th semester in Afghanistan. It was just 2 of our final exam was remained. That it was at night that I was studying and preparing for tomorrow's exam. That one of my sister told me that I saw a news from Taliban that they announced that from tomorrow the girls cannot go to universities.
Countless decrees, directives, and statements targeting women and girls. This is the new Afghanistan. UNESCO warns that restrictions imposed on women by the Taliban in the name of compliance with their interpretation of Sharia have almost wiped out 2 decades of steady progress for education here. The future of an entire generation of Afghan girls, it says, is now in jeopardy. This crushing of women's rights also stands in the way of the Taliban's efforts to gain international recognition. American actor Meryl Streep addressed the UN General Assembly this week and showed support with Afghan women and girls.
A squirrel has more rights than a girl in Afghanistan today because the public parks have been closed to women and girls by the Taliban. A bird may sing in Kabul, but a girl may not, and a woman may not in public.
Countries and organizations around the world, including the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, have called strongly for respect for the fundamental rights of Afghan girls and women.
World leaders and public figures raise big concern from mighty platforms on the plight of women in Afghanistan. But the question remains, is enough being done?
One thing I would like to say for Afghan girls, please be optimistic, don't lose your confidence and don't lose your hope. Follow your dream as much as you can, and now you can have self-study. As I think it's not a permanent situation. It's a temporary, it will change, and one day we will have a bright Afghanistan, a peaceful country. And one day, I'm pretty sure we will see all girls, all ladies can do, get education, get working, and getting their fun. And we should be optimistic. We will have a bright Afghanistan. It's near.
From Bangladesh's interim leader Muhammad Yunus meeting Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif at the United Nations General Assembly to the fresh impetus of the Tapi pipeline from Turkmenistan to India. Up next, we get you all the stories from the region that have made headlines on our Inside South Asia wrap.
Bangladesh interim leader Muhammad Yunus and Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif met on the sidelines of the 79th session of United Nations General Assembly in New York. Sharif attended the ceremony regarding the completion of 50 years of Bangladesh's membership in the United Nations. The two leaders agreed to promote cooperation between Pakistan and Bangladesh in various fields. Chief Advisor Yunus also called for reviving South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, or SAARC, as a top platform for regional cooperation in South Asia. Established in 1985, the South Asian Bloc comprises 8 member nations of South Asia. This November will mark a decade since the last SAARC summit was held in November 2014 in Kathmandu. In 2016, the 19th summit hosted by Pakistan was cancelled following the Uri attack in India. India announced boycott of the summit, alleging Pakistan's hand in the attacks. This prompted other nations, including Bangladesh, to also pull out of the summit.
Pakistan has appointed Lieutenant General Muhammad Asim Malik as the new Director General of the Inter-Services Intelligence, or the ISI. Malik, who is currently the Army's Adjutant General, will replace Lieutenant General Nadeem Anjum on the 30th of September. This is the first change in the key post since 2021. The move comes at a time when the political role of the agency is under intense scrutiny. A former ISI chief has been arrested for supporting the political cause of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Khan, on the other hand, alleges the agency under current chief Naveed Anjum is being used against him. A standoff between Khan and the army over the ISI chief's appointment in 2021 is believed to have led to Imran's falling out with top generals. It was followed by his ouster from the premiership months later. The post of ISI Director General, usually a serving military officer, is one of the most powerful positions in Pakistan, standing at the intersection of domestic politics, the military and foreign relations.
Bangladesh has withdrawn its ban on Hilsa fish exports to India ahead of the Durga Puja, an important festival of Bengalis in India. Exports of 3,000 tons of the popular Hilsa have been approved till October 12th. Earlier this month, the Mohammad Yunus interim government banned Hilsa exports to India to meet domestic demand. The decision was viewed as a discontinuation of a long-standing goodwill gesture of Bangladesh to its neighbor. Highly regarded and sought after for its taste and flavor, the Hilsa fish is hugely popular in Bangladesh as well as in India. Last year, ahead of the Durga Puja, the Sheikh Hasina government allowed Bangladeshi traders to sell nearly 3,950 metric tons of the special Padma Hilsa to India.
Afghanistan is all set to begin work on a $10 billion gas pipeline traversing South Asia, the TAPI, or Turkmenistan. In September, Afghan officials joined dignitaries in neighboring Turkmenistan to celebrate its completion on that side of the border. Progress on the pipeline running through these 4 countries has been repeatedly delayed because of security issues in conflict-ravaged Afghanistan. According to Afghan authorities, the TAPI project will provide jobs for 12,000 people in the war-torn country. The pipeline will see around 33 billion cubic meters of natural gas each year extracted from the Galkinch gas field in southeast Turkmenistan. When completed, it will pump natural gas through a 1,800-kilometer pipeline traversing Afghanistan before crossing into Balochistan province in Pakistan and ending in the Indian state of Punjab.
And that's all we have for you on our show this week. Before we leave, take a look at the inaugural Bharat-Nepal Maitri Yatra, an initiative by India Railways that is a 10-day journey that covers religious places in India and Nepal. For the WION team, I'm Dissanayake and I will see you next week.